Hello and welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. I am Cathy Fluegel, and Jennifer McCune and I are very excited to be here with you and share with you a little bit more about Rodan+Fields. We're going to let you know our stories, answer some questions you might have, answer some questions you might not know that you had. And so I'm going to just go ahead and share a little bit about my story, and then Jennifer and I are going to have a little bit of chit chat. And at some point, you'll be able to ask questions about our experiences or anything that you have. So it's going to be short and sweet. And so thanks so much for taking the time. So as I said, my name is Cathy. I am the mom of two boys. I'm here in Boulder, Colorado, and we're having a lovely rain, it just doesn't rain consistently here, and it's happening, and it is so nice. It was 98 degrees yesterday. So happy summer, right, everyone? So like I said, I am a stay-at-home mom of two boys. They are now 21 and 19. So when I first got started with Rodan+Fields, I was a burned out PTA volunteer. And I was wondering what I was going to do once my kids were out of the house. So, it was something that I loved volunteering. I loved being part of something bigger than myself, but I didn't see myself doing it forever. And I wondered if my time and talents could be put towards something that might help our family. So I was introduced to a friend of mine to Rodan+Fields. And what I recognized was that this company was, it's founded by two of the most well-respected doctors and female entrepreneurs in the world who had already created $1 billion brand with Proactive. And this could give me an opportunity to create something for myself in part-time, flexible hours, and maybe, I thought, create something just different for our household. And like I said, have my work go towards some household finances. So I got started and I committed to very part-time hours alongside my still current commitments at the school, fitting stuff in here and there around my two boys and their busy schedules. So within 2 months of joining Rodan+Fields, I had paid back my initial investment and made a little bit of profit. And within the next year, I started to pay our mortgage, and I started a vacation fund, and we never had that. So the PTA that I was working at was a small private Montessori school where my kids went. So our extra money was going towards tuition. So, and a couple of years later, my husband's business then took a very abrupt and unexpected downturn, and my income was there and ready to cover those gaps. And we never, ever thought we would need a plan B. And I was never going to work and have an income. So what a blessing that this became for us during a scary time for our family. So ultimately what it did was create certain time and financial freedoms that were not present in my life prior to me jumping in with this company. So all these years later, I started in late 2010. So nearly 10 years later, I still absolutely love helping people with their skin and creating more options in their lives also as well.
So let me ask you a couple of questions based on what you just said. And I love your story. I mean, how nice that you had built this up prior to needing it. But it's really interesting. I think we have a lot of stay-at-home moms who are interested in this. And one question that comes up, you have a couple things together. So you didn't necessarily maybe have a lot of experience in business or running your own business. So did that make you nervous? And that leads to my next question. Do you think it messed with your confidence a little bit? I know when we stay home with our kids, it can mess with us a little bit. All of a sudden we start to think, gosh, I'm really good at changing diapers or, getting my kids to school. So I think those go kind of hand in hand. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, well, so, I definitely, even before I even was looking at Rodan+Fields, I did have some of those things of gosh, who am I? I have a college degree and I worked before having children, but my oldest was 13 years old at the time. So what do you do to try to get back into the workforce with no, quote, marketable job skills, right? I can negotiate a fight over Legos, but what am I going to put on on a resume. So I was a little concerned about it, and definitely not having like business or sales experience. And I was worried, would people take me seriously? Would people start avoiding me at the pickup line at school because, oh, here's, she wants to sell me something, right? And but what I found is that um I gained the confidence knowing that there was this big brand here, right? These women had already done something huge, and then they were offering us the opportunity to partner with them. And so I didn't have to do any of that. That was already established. And then a huge support system within this company to help us learn these skills that maybe we don't come into, sales skills or business skills or skincare skills. I didn't even really wash my face before this, I'll say, but so, but, and also, you know, I'm a person that I think most of us do this, right? Is when you have something really exciting to share, you tell people about it. You find a really great snack at Costco, you tell everybody you know. You love your hair guy, you tell everybody you know. Like you might not tell everybody about your babysitter because then they'll hire them, but but so I was excited about this venture and I was excited to share and I was seeing changes in my skin and I was so excited that gosh, I was taking this chance on myself. And so people were so, so supportive and people are genuinely excited when we're excited. Right.
Right.
And
Right.
so, that really helped me. And definitely I was nervous, but, I knew I'd be supported while I learned how to do this.
So then the other question I get and hear about from stay-at-home moms is, what did Brian think? Like, was your husband supportive? Because, I'm just
Yeah.
curious.
And he was the one who was actually encouraged me the most to do this. So the person who introduced me was a mutual friend of ours, so he kept saying, you should go look at that, what, have you talked to her, what is she, I've heard good things. So he was the one who really encouraged me the most to jump in. And but I will say, and that was really important for me because I think that there's also a burden on any household that has one breadwinner, right? And the sole breadwinner has a lot of to take on. And so I think we were both sort of secretly hoping that I could ease that burden, put some money into that vacation fund or do something else with that. And he wasn't going to put that pressure on me, of course, but how nice to be able to relieve some of the pressure from him. And then he really understood that there was such very little risk, a 60-day money back guarantee,
Right.
a somewhat of a tax shelter, this
Right.
big brand. Why
Right.
not? Cathy,
Right.
just try it. Yeah. So, but I know that that's not always the case, that it's sometimes it's a harder conversation to well, guess what, honey, I'm going to go and do this. So what about your husband, Jennifer? What did he have to say?
So he was not into it at all. He thought I was nuts. So when I started, I was working full time. My kids were 5, 8, and 10, and I was taking night classes. And I have a background in academia. I have a PhD in Spanish, and I was doing culture and language training for the military. And I really was just sick of living my life like the daily grind. I was sick of just like getting up and going to work and waiting for lunch and waiting for dinner and waiting to see my kids, to put them to bed, to wait till Friday, I was just sick of living life like that. And I wanted to do something else that was going to be exciting, that I could still contribute, like you mentioned, financially, the household, that I didn't have to work my life away, that I could start living my life. I wanted to build I wanted to build a passive income stream. I wanted to get away from the billable hour and just have more flexibility. So I learned about this, like you, the brand presence, the women who created proactive skincare. They did it once, they're going to do it again. This time I get to come along for the ride and be part of the journey and get a piece of the pie. So I came home super excited. I learned about it on LinkedIn, came home, I told my husband, he's like, "You're going to do what?" I don't think so. And he has a PhD in physics and theoretical physics. And one thing we're really good at in academia is being critical. I don't know if you guys remember college professors or think about that, but that's what we're trained to do, is critique, not necessarily solve problems. So I was like, oh yeah, you're probably right. And I didn't sleep at all that night because all I kept on thinking is, what if? Yeah, I know I want to use the skincare anyways. I'm going to get it for the best rate. I'm going to get a great entrepreneurial education. Like, there's nothing to like not like about this. So I got up the next day and I said, hey, I'm going to do this. And he's like, okay, well, if you're going to do it, go big. So I did. I got the biggest kit. I had never tried the products before, and I wanted to do that for a couple reasons. First of all, I'm a frugal Fran, so if I can get the biggest discount, I'm going to do it. Secondly, again, I saw it as a great educational opportunity for myself to inform myself about what all the products were like and to build my own stories. So um, even so, I was really nervous. One of my first questions prior to starting was, is this sales? Because if it's sales, I'm kind of not on board. It's not my thing. And the person that introduced me to it had told me it's about relationship building and sharing with people. And going back to what you said, I love doing that. I love connecting people with jobs or boyfriends or books or restaurants. And I'm like, she's right. I am always like connecting people with stuff. So what's wrong with me reaping some reward for that instead of just the corporate people that we do that for or whatever, reaping the reward? So yeah, I just hopped on. Um, so that leads me to my next question. Of course, we need to share this with people. So one of the things, and a question that I hear a lot, do you think, and this hasn't been my experience, I don't think you have to be an extrovert to be super great in this business. Do you, Cathy? Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's required at all. And that was actually one of my concerns, because the person who introduced me is a mega extrovert. She can make a friend anywhere, and does. Like, you're like, wait a second, we just walked through Nordstrom and you have 3 friends. What's happening here, right? But I'm similar to you are. I'm probably more of an introvert than you are, Jennifer. Like so but I'll talk your ear off all night long, but it's just going to be the 2 of us, right? I'm not going to come away with 3 friends. So I was worried that would be a detriment for me, versus people who can talk to anybody anywhere, for sure. But what really ends up mattering is who I am authentically, is that person who's just going to connect with a person one by one by one by one, right? And everyone has a different personality. They have a different way of connecting with people. And that's what's important to succeed, is not a certain personality trait. It's to be yourself and to be able to connect. Now, we can't be a total recluse, right? Like, we have to actually talk to people.
Right.
But I had I felt like I had a relatively small network when I started, because I was just with the moms at school. That was my world. And that's great, but wasn't a huge group of people. But like I said, people are so supportive and genuinely happy that it sort of unfolds as you continue to connect and talk with people. So, but what did that look like for you? Because you're not socializing as much if you're working full time and have 3 kids and an academic husband, right?
I did not socialize at all because I was working full time and taking night classes. So I was either at the office or I was at home with the kids. And my office consisted of me and 2 other people.
Oh,
So
wow.
my network was teeny tiny. And for me, it kind of boiled down to why I was doing it and what I wanted out of life. And I knew I wanted so much more out of life. I knew I wanted the flexibility to be able to travel more with my family. I had no idea that we were going to be quarantining in 2020. But, in general, having the flexibility to be more with my family, but at the same time, help take care of our financial health and have the flexibility to actually not have to work out at 5 a.m. Like, that was a huge fantasy of mine. When you work full time, you have little kids. If you want to work out, you got to do it at 5 a.m. So I had a huge fantasy to not have to work out at 5 a.m. and to be more with my kids. And so I made it a goal to connect with 5 people every day, whether that be people from my past or connecting with new people. And I used LinkedIn, I used social media, I joined networking groups, and I just did a little bit every day. I didn't have a ton of time, but my why was big enough that I found the time. I didn't watch TV, I didn't do crap things. Like, I was really deliberate and spent my lunch hour on my business and like a half an hour after the kids went to bed, and just did a little bit every day and grew my network. And it's like, wow, that all adds up, right? It makes a huge difference. So
And so with being so busy, you just found nooks and crannies of time to just work efficiently
yeah.
around all of the things.
And it was funny, this was even before hashtags. This is how long you and I have been,
Right.
consultants, right? But once I've been in it for a while, it's that whole, I remember telling people, it's that whole hashtag do it scared. It's not easy, but anything in life worth having that's easy is not going to be the same way. I mean, look at what we've been able to accomplish by doing a little bit every day. So I tell people now, I look back and I'm so grateful for that person who took a leap of faith and said, you know what? I understand it's not going to be always easy. I understand it's going to be scary, but I'm going to be coachable and do a little bit every day and do that for my family. And like, one of the first things we did was a great Disney vacation for the kids. And,
Oh, that's cool.
having those memories with our family is huge, right?
Yeah, it really is priceless. And it is truly a leap of faith, and kind of pushing through that, like, oh, what if, having your eye on, yeah, but what if, right?
Yeah,
What if I open all this up for myself, and those wonderful things that we didn't expect, like,
exactly.
you get a text from a mom who says, oh my gosh, I can't believe my daughter's skin, now that her confidence is soaring now that her acne is cleared up. Or you get somebody on your team texting about a paycheck and that they never expected, or gosh, I'm so proud of myself and thank you so much for helping me, and all of those wonderful things that you don't expect, not only for your own stuff, but your own family, but for what's happening with this community is just
Absolutely.
and as an introvert, if you had said, well, Cathy, you're going to also have this whole big group of friends and all these women, I would have been like, ugh, what? But the truth is that that's really a huge piece of this, is this supportive community, not only to help us learn and grow, but just the friendships and the women that we get to work with are really exceptional people, you included.
Absolutely. Well, I know, like, we met each other on several trips that we've taken together and earned together. So,
Yeah, yeah, we wouldn't have met
absolutely.
otherwise. Yeah, yeah.
So, tell me a little bit more about what your day to day looks like, because this is a burning question. People are like, okay, your life sounds great. I want to do what you do. I want to have what you have. But they're curious, what do you do? What does that even look like?
Yeah. So it's a little bit like what you're saying. You're sort of making room on your plate, whatever you're busy for, right? To make sure you're able to reach out and connect with people. So we kind of talk about the tool. You have a lot of tools in your tool belt, right? So we use social media. We send skincare samples. We do events like this in person when we can, someday again. But online events are great because nobody knows I have my PJs on down below right now, right?
Well, now we do.
Yeah. But I didn't have to get all gussied up and go out in the rain. So, but we're working to support building referral networks. So, we're using social media, we're talking on the phone, we're connecting with our people, in whatever way. And so it's really boils down to, there's three things we're looking for in this business. It's customers, consultants, and people to connect us with those two people. And how do we connect with those people? And it's finding those ways that are more natural to us. So I'm like you, I fit it in and around all the stuff. I mean, my boys are adults now mostly, but it's pretty busy with everybody at home with
Right.
quarantine. So,
Right.
yeah, we're sending messages here and there, and I'm online with people while we're binge watching programs, and I'm avoiding the news as much as possible.
Yes.
So yeah, it looks really different every single day, but it really just boils down to connecting with other people.
Absolutely. And I would add, it's this simple formula of invite, follow up, repeat. Invite people to learn more, follow up, and repeat, and continuously add new people to your funnel. I liken it to, say you opened an ice cream store. You wouldn't invite the same 10 people to eat at your ice cream store every day, whether your friends or family or other people. You want to continuously meet new people. And that's one of the beauties in our business. I met so many people through social media, through referrals, out and about, at Target, whatever, back when we could actually shop, just people everywhere. There's so many people who are looking for opportunities to make extra money in a flexible way. So many people who are looking for great skin and lash care. So that's been really fun. And I also love the educational side of things. Daily, we get to learn about entrepreneurship, marketing, connecting with people. We get to learn about social media. We get to learn personal growth and personal development. I didn't even ever know that was a thing. As many
Yeah.
years of education as I've had, I didn't realize we should be growing ourselves. Wow, what a concept. We've been learning to grow for a job, but not for ourselves. So that's been a really rewarding thing too, to think, wow, I'm worthy enough of, let's grow me and be the best me, surrounded in a community of people who believe likewise and all want to lift each other up. So that's been pretty amazing. Would you,
Yeah.
I mean, you would agree with that as being
Oh,
some of the best things
absolutely.
for you?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to get the education and the development while getting paid, right? We didn't have to go to Rodan+Fields Business School to do
Right.
that, right? I mean, we
Right.
did. We went to Rodan+Fields Business School, but we're earning a paycheck the whole time we're there, right?
Right.
So, yeah. I have one last question for you. And that is, you mentioned briefly you did not use the products before you jumped in on the business, and you jumped in like within 48 hours, right? Or 24 hours.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so talk about that.
For me, it just made sense. We have this brand presence. The women who created Proactive, they created this brand that was partnered with Estee Lauder, number one in Nordstrom. I knew there was going to be something for me. I was in fact upset that I hadn't learned about it sooner. I'm like, I don't want to wait another day, another minute, another second. And when I look at the timing then versus now, the timing now is even more exciting. We just expanded to Japan. We're the number one premium skincare brand in all of North America, fastest growing in Australia, just expanded to Japan. Um, Proactive, the first brand that these women founded and now have since sold off, is in 182 countries. We're now in 4. So it's like, wow. I mean, and we're always coming up with new innovative products. Lash Boost was one that many might have heard of. We're coming up with another one is coming out on July 9th. We have a cashback offer on our kits. We have a summer special going on. It's like they keep on, just like we're learning, they're learning, and things are getting better and better for all of our consultants. And even with all of these accolades, our awareness level is still so low. Less than 1% of the community who could be consultants in the US are. 3% who would probably purchase products are purchasing the products. So it's just so exciting. And for me, I felt that excitement. I wouldn't have wanted to wait another day to become a preferred customer and then wait. I wanted to join right away. So that's what, if for those of you watching, if you're at all considering the consultant option, really it's the best way to go. No matter how you get our products, there's a 60-day money back guarantee. My husband always laughs now. He's like, it's so crazy. I don't even know where else you can start a business and get it all back and have it be skincare. It's like just like a no-brainer to
Yeah.
do this. So anybody who's watching, anybody who's at all curious or interested, you should definitely talk to your consultant. I don't know why you would wait. We pretty much answered a lot of the objections, and get back with the consultant who invited you to learn more, and share if you have some more hesitations. Let them help you and walk you through it, because we're all about educating, we're all about serving, we're all about helping you figure out what's going to work best for you. So with that, I think we can end that portion of things and gladly open it up to any questions. I'm going to make sure that our Facebook Live feed, see if we have any questions over there. And then if we have any questions here, I'm happy to answer them as well. As is Cathy, of course.
Yeah.
Any questions, ladies? What I'll do is I'm going to stop the stream in a second. And then if you feel more comfortable asking questions, and I will stop recording.